I'm streaming, baby. Welcome to the SFR GT Challenge. This is round 1 for GTC2 drivers, the second division, and we're on the Brands Hatch Grand Prix circuit in Great Britain. And I'm your host, Super Q31, and I'll be with you for this exciting race. It will be 42 laps of the British circuit with Group 3 cars, the equivalent of GT3 in the world of Gran Turismo sport. So drivers are finishing their 10-minute qualifying session. And so far we have a TPRT driver on pole position, provisional pole, followed by a newly signed Rockefeller Racing driver, Dr. Vegas 45, in second place. You'll see some of the grid will change a lot since drivers are allowed to enter and exit the pits. Sound check is good. So we'll switch to the provisional pole sitter. 122.038. That's quite fast for the GTC2 drivers. In a Toyota Supra for team TPRT, Tupai Racing Team, a Puerto Rican racing team. This is the first round of the official season, so this is round 1 of 12. And this is when we're gonna start giving points to our 15 regular drivers. One is missing tonight, Little Mac, but he is being replaced by our Dr. Vegas 45. I'll keep mispronouncing his name, but it's fine. I'm French. Oh, T64 Turbo is in P1 for now. Still a minute and 15 seconds left in the qualifying session, as we have our friends Catch and Autista, GTC1 drivers, in the chat. And T64 Turbo calls it a day, and he's fine with his time. We'll see if it holds for pole position. A lot of Supras on track. We'll have, I believe we'll have 3 Supras tonight. The 2 TPRT drivers, and also DNA Stag, who's in a Toyota Supra. And you have a Toyota FT1, so second and third. Oh, well, actually Fuzzy is also in a Supra, so Toyota in second, third, and fourth with different cars. Fuzzy, who was the pole sitter in round 1, test event 1, I believe, is now down. Would be his first start outside of the front row. We'll see if he can improve his time. Still has a few seconds to complete his final lap. So qualifying is all but done. Everyone is finishing their lap. We'll see if I can catch some of them. Cortez stays there. It will be hard to find them, so the last one will be Magic Man, I believe, and he's in 13. So now drivers have to park. Well, actually, I think there's still one person left on the track qualifying, and well, I was unable to find it. So drivers now have to park, and the lap times will be recorded, and the grid will be set by the host, DNA2 Show, who's the new GTC2 host for this round, and he should be there the whole season. Our only Brazilian driver for the DNA Racing Team, and I don't see. Okay, I was trying to find someone on the track. They're all parked. There's still someone running laps, and that's not allowed. There are no actual penalties for this, but drivers are supposed to park because it might still change their lap time. So Gnarly, stop please. Where is he? Aha. Good. So that's good. We'll have a short break until the grid is set. And then drivers will be able to exit and pick their compound, since they have to use the 2 mandatory compounds, and they're, well, it's always good to use the softs, even though they're not mandatory. So the mediums and the hards, they have to run at least 5 laps on them. It's a 42 lap race, so 10 laps on mandatory compounds. That's not a big percentage of the race, but it still will have a huge impact on the results. In GTC1, the tire strategy was a big factor. Some drivers accidentally picking the wrong compounds, and some others not running the full 5 lap stint, getting a 10-second penalty. So drivers will want to avoid it tonight. And also starting on the harder compound, the hard tires will be a big disadvantage, since drivers on the softest compound will be much faster than them. Okay, I think everything is good. I was worried, but I cannot spectate if someone is not on the track, if there's no one on the track. Spec 1, another GTC1 driver in the chat. I should get rid of this. So Paddock Hill Bend, which is the first corner on this classic circuit, hosted a few Formula 1 Grand Prix, Indy cars, touring cars, the BTCC, the GT3 races, and Gale speed. I guess some drivers haven't entered the track yet, which can delay the start of the race. Here we go. I believe everyone is on track right now. Yes. Nope. Yeah, everyone has entered. So we can already see some things that I will not mention yet. We'll see who's starting on what. Drivers have been instructed to enter the track only once, and they're not allowed to exit again to spy on other drivers using our broadcast. So some drivers are picking the mediums, and some drivers are on the hards. Some will likely start on the softs also. And so far, everyone is starting on the mediums or the hards. Even drivers on the second row of the grid have chosen hard tires. Someone sending me a screenshot. Well, we'll see what's going on. I'll be back in a second. I guess there must be. It's all good. That's all good. So if you see penalties, they're only flag rules penalties. They are not actual time penalties for cutting the track or getting in a collision. Those are off. we have a review system after the race to see if penalties must be given to drivers. So now I have the full list of starting compounds. If I see on the replay that someone changed their compounds, I'm gonna be mad. And we're about to get underway. So I'll say ready. So he knows I'm ready. And we're gonna have... Oh, already. That was quick. We're about to start this race. Round 1 GTC2 on the brand Grand Prix circuit with T64 Turbo on pole position and TPRT Gabo in second place, our Dr. Vegas 45 in third place, and Fuzzy RSQC in fourth place. So we have the red lights. Green flag, and we're underway. Drivers struggling at get off the grid, and a crazy start from Speed Cloud. Sorry. In the AMG, drivers in the Supras struggling a little off the grid, dropping a few spots, which has promoted some drivers further down the grid up a few spots, and a few side contacts. Nothing major, no pile-up, so far there's no need for a red flag. And so T64 Turbo, Dr. Vegas, and Speed Cloud in the first 3 positions. Exotica moved up a few spots. Gnarly is also up, ahead of Gabo, who started in second place, so moved all the way down to 6th, and using the bumper to try to force an overtake. And Fuzzy up. I think there was a collision ahead of them. I'm not sure exactly. Gnarly is on the hards, so he's gonna be slowing down the drivers on the mediums behind him. We'll keep an eye on the battle for 5th place, as there's an overtake by Exotica, who's using the wipers, so probably saw some rain on the track. He's now up in 3rd place, as Gnarly is fighting for his life in 5th place, trying to hold 3 fast Supras behind him. It's his first race of season 3. He's missed the first 2 test events, so he's looking to have a great race and show what he's able to do in GTC2. So there's a 3-way battle, all Toyotas. And there's a Corvette right behind, Magic Man, team captain for Rockefeller Racing, looking to capitalize on one of these Supra's mistakes. So far, everything has been clean. 2 teammates and Fuzzy. And the 2 TPRT Supras are now ahead of the BDRT Supra. Fuzzy getting on the gravel. Fuzzy's looking to win this race. Whoa, I think one of the Supras, Gabo, was losing it, saved it at the Sheen curve, and I think there was a spin. Let me try to find who that was. That was Kotobori. Can I have the replay? Oh, I'll have to rewind a little more. Then we'll go back to the live action. Oh, I think there was an incident. I think that was Gelspeed in front of him. It looked like lag, so it will probably be reported, and it will be likely be reviewed by the stewards after the race. It looked very unusual. And so Gnarly still holding the Supras behind him. He's on the hards. He's gonna try to make the most of this stint, trying to lose as little time as he can. and slow down the drivers behind him as long as it is clean. And he's gonna lose one spot to Gabo, who's on the mediums, and he might lose another one to Urtel, his TPRT teammate. So 2 clean overtakes by the TPRT drivers, and Gnarly is now down in 7th place. And he still has to fight with Fuzzy, as our leader T64 Turbo for the red, white and blue racing team is now running away with a 2.6 second lead, and he's on the mediums. Dr. Vegas has been caught by Exotica, still using his wipers, probably praying for rain, but it's probably not gonna come. So the Nissan GTR chasing the Toyota FT1. And we'll go back to... I think Gnarly is still ahead of Fuzzy, but Fuzzy is right on his bumper. There's nothing between these two cars. Fuzzy is on the mediums. Actually, Fuzzy is on the hards. My apologies. He's on the hards, so that's why he had a tougher time overtaking Gnarly than the 2 TPRT drivers. That makes sense. He didn't have the advantage as DNA2 show, who led part of test event 2, is on the hards in the Audi, struggling for grip ahead of Legacy and the Atenza. Legacy, who's on the mediums, has more grip. And our leader, T64 Turbo, still running away with it, 3.1 seconds ahead of the second place driver. And he's still purpling, running very good times on the mediums, as the 2 TPRT Supras are closing the gap to 4th place now that they've overtaken Gnarly. And Legacy is now ahead of Tusho. Tusho really struggling with grip in the R8. Very little grip from the hards on this track. Requires a lot of grip. Drivers will want to use the softs as soon as possible, and they can already pit this lap. This is lap 5, so we'll see if our leader decides to chooses to only run a 5-lap stint on the mediums. We'll keep an eye on them and their tire strategy, which will give us a lot of information. No, T64 Turbo is entering the pits. So the leader is in the pits. He was on the mediums. A lot of drivers are hitting the pit road. Speak Loud stayed on the track. And so T64 Turbo is now on the softs. Dr. Vegas is now on the softs. Exotica on the softs. I believe Axel stayed on the track. The 2 TPRT drivers, sorry, I keep hitting the wrong thing, are now on the hards. So 2 Supras on the hards ahead of Axel on the mediums, who stayed on the track. Fuzzy went in the pits and picked softs. Gnarly got rid of his hards for softs. Legacy on the softs. Tusho now on the mediums. Stag now on the hards. So 2 mandatory compound stints to start with. And this means Speak Loud is still on the mediums and he's leading the race. But he's he still has to do his first pit stop. It's a very tricky pit entry lane, so the pit entry is very tricky. You have to be careful not to cut it and not to ride the wall or hit the wall on entry, which will give you a 1-second penalty. As T64 Turbo is looking to get back in the lead on the softs, and he's now ahead of Speedcloud. Speedcloud still has a run on him, but with less grip as he's on the mediums. And I believe we have someone in the pits, and it's sometimes very hard to click on the right one. The game doesn't help me. Seems like Kotobori and Axel went in the pits. So they should be right there. Kotobori, who had an incident earlier, is now on the softs, and Axel is now on the softs. And there's a spin. Kotobori just got out of the pits at Paddock Hill Bend, likely clipped the gravel. Yes, that's very tricky. As soon as you go a little too wide, you're gonna be sent spinning, or you're gonna beach it on the outside. So D64 Turbo already pushing hard. We'll see if he's able to run the fastest lap on lap 7. Should be easy since he's on the hards, since he's on the softs, sorry. As Speedcloud enters the pits to get rid of his mediums. And he's now on a fresh set of softs, and he's in 4th place, so hasn't lost too much time. Fuzzy is now ahead of TPRT Gabo, who's on the hards, and now Gnarly, who was struggling on the hards to keep the Supras behind him, is now challenging Gürtel for 7th, and he's now ahead of him, and he's gonna be looking to catch Gabo and the other TPRT Supra, as now Legacy has his sights on 8th place, and will ride on board with him. Sometimes takes a few clicks, and there we go. This is the Mazda Atenza Group 3 race car, as Gürtel struggled there. That's Hawthorns, and he's on the inside and completes the overtake at Westfield. So we'll have a look at it. Actually, that was a little too short. So Legacy had a better run on exit. He's on the softs, and Gürtel is on the hards. And that made it easy for him, and he's now up in 8th place. As there's a battle for 2nd place, Exotica has caught Dr. Vegas. I assume, unless positions have already swapped, but I believe Exotica was behind him. So the GTR looking strong with the wipers. Let's hope he's not using cockpit view, otherwise it will be a major distraction. You can see the beauty of the wiper animation, enhancing the realism, as there's actually no water, no moisture on the track. Doing it in style, our friend Exotica from the Black Dragon Racing Team, number 99 GTR. We'll see if he's able to overtake Dr. Vegas at Paddock Hill Bend. As there are a few battles on the track. They're both on the softs, so they don't have a... their compounds will not create a big gap, difference in their lap times. It will be all down to driving skills and sizing any opportunities to overtake the driver in front. Sorry, I had a long day. So there's still a battle between Gabo and Gnarly. Gnarly on the softs, Gabo on the hards. Gnarly has the inside. The Supra is very fast on the straights. It's not always easy to overtake Toyota drivers, as you can see. The Supra right on his bumper. But the driver from the Rockefeller Racing, our Gnarly, is now ahead of Gabo in 6th place in the BMW M6 GT3. As the battle for 2nd place is still ongoing, and there's a nice run by Exotica. That's a gutsy move at Paddock Hill Bend, and he completes the overtake. So he's now up in 2nd place, and there's a driver entering the pits, Gabo, who's getting rid of his hards. Tusho also getting rid of his mediums, and Gurtel also getting rid of his hards. So TPRT is good to go. And Tusho is also good to go. As drivers on the softs are stretching their stint. No drivers on the soft has pitted this lap. As Axel is running the purple sector 2 in the Beetle, really pushing hard. Magic Man, our Rockefeller Racing driver, and the team captain, who's also the livery designer for all the cars you are seeing tonight, the green machines, is in 10th place. Our driver from Brazil, DNA Tusho, in 11th. Gale Speed from the Dominican Republic, number 666. As you can see, is Dominican Republic. The flag on the car is in 12th. As Gurtel has done his 2 mandatory compound stints, and he's down in 13th on the softs, looking to gain ground now that he's taken his, you could call them tire penalties. And Stag and Kotobori in 14th and 15th. Kotobori sliding a little. The McLaren isn't an easy car to drive. And Exotica still holding 2nd place ahead of Dr. Vegas 45. BDRT with their newly signed sponsor, Icon Sim Sports, which is a company, I believe they are designing cockpits and sim racing gears. And it's run by one of the, a former GT Sport driver who was in the TNTR GT series back then, Roland Bohr, who's back as a sponsor for BDRT. And his teammate Fuzzy RSQC, the 2nd BDRT driver, number 420, the Supra from Quebec, is in 5th place. He won Test Event 2 weeks ago on the Autodrome Lago Maggiore, and so he'll be looking to claim another victory. But T64 Turbo seems to be the man to beat tonight. He has only used the mediums, so he still has to use the hards. We'll see how this affects the gaps. As TPRT Gabo in the Supra has run the fastest lap, and he's down in 9th place, 122.822. I believe that was the previous lap. Yes, so he just ran the fastest lap on the softs. And he will have to overtake Axel to claim 8th place and to move up a spot. As there's our leader, the leader is entering the pits. He was on the softs. We'll see if he chooses to use the hards or stays on the softs. And he stays on the softs. What about Dr. Vegas and Exotica? Seems like they will... Oh, no, Exotica is on the hard, so he'll have to be careful and do everything he can to hold the FT1 VGT behind him. But I believe he's already going to lose the spot. No, he has the inside at the next corner at the Graham Hill bend, but he could lose it at Surtees. We'll see if Dr. Vegas is able to do it. Dr. Vegas will have to use the hards later during this race. He's on the softs, still has to use one of the two mandatory compounds. Should be able to overtake Exotica, but it's a very narrow track. Unless the driver ahead makes a mistake like this, it's really hard to overtake. And the GTR is mighty fast on the straights, and I think we've lost Gnarly. So our first DNF tonight. Unfortunately, he was having a good race on the softs. And I believe I've seen there was a... Let me have a look at the replay. There seemed to have been an incident. I'm not exactly sure what happened with Axel. Maybe just ran a little wide. Nope, I think that was just my eyes. I had a optical illusion, I guess, as Legacy is entering the pits. Picking the hards. Exiting the pits, right behind Axel and in front of Kurtel for TPRT. Now Exotica still ahead of the FT1, but he's running wide, hitting the grass. He has the horsepower to stay ahead of the FT1. I guess Gnarly got disconnected as he's back in the lobby. Unfortunately, he won't be able to rejoin the track as Exotica just lost third place to the RR driver. And he's sliding a little. That's a very... it's a tricky car to push on the hards. It shines on the softs and on the mediums. As Fuzzy is catching Exotica. Fuzzy who's on the medium, so he's running his second... the second mandatory compound. Tusho is good to go. He can use the softs all the way to the finish. Axel still has to use the hards. Gurtel has used both mandatory compounds. Legacy is on the hards. Magic Man on the softs. Gale Speed on very worn softs. And he's entering the pits. So we'll stay with him. And picks another set of soft tires. As Kotobori is on the hards. So we have a few drivers who will have, at the end of this stint, will have used both mandatory compounds. So Axel, T64 Turbo, Magic Man, Dr. Vegas, and Gale Speed will have to use the hards at one point in the race. So 5 drivers will have to use the hards before we get to... well, at the latest, they will have to pit on lap 37. Actually, on yeah. Let me count again, so I don't make the same mistake. Yeah, lap 37, and they'll be able to run 5 laps on the hards. In GTC1, one driver pitted too late for his final stint on the hards and got a 10-second penalty, as he only ran 4 laps. So it's 10 seconds per lap. Not done on the mandatory compounds, and if you don't use the compound at all, you're gonna get disqualified from the race and lose all your points. And now that it's a championship round, it counts towards the drivers and the team's championships. That's something you want to avoid. You have 2 drop rounds, but getting disqualified is not a good way to use them. They're meant for drivers missing races because of scheduling conflicts. And there's a battle, Exotica and Fuzzy. 2 weeks ago it was Fuzzy in front of Exotica, and now it's Exotica in front of Fuzzy. But Exotica is on the hard, so he should not hold. Yep, he's yielding to his teammate. Yep. So Exotica down in 5th, Fuzzy up in 4th. Speak Loud, another set of softs, and he's gonna exit right in front of the BDRT drivers. As Gabo ran another 122 point, he's running even faster than previously. It was a 122.8, now it's 122.7. So he's the fastest driver on the track, with T64 Turbo running high 22s to low 23s. Running his personal best, but still off the fastest lap we've had so far. So Gnarly got disconnected, unfortunately. So he's our first DNF of this race. Let's hope we don't have more drivers having to exit the race prematurely. Drivers must complete 70% of the race distance to score points. And even if you DNF and finish 15th, 1 point can make all the difference at the end of the season, either for yourself or for the team. It's always good to do everything you can to avoid this, but sometimes network issues cause drivers to get disconnected. So Exotica got rid of the hearts. Legacy is now on the hearts. No, he was already on the hard, so he's still doing his racing hard stint. That explains why Magic Man is all over him. So we'll ride on board with the Rockefeller Racing team captain. Seems like he's gonna be able to overtake him at Surtees. He's clear. The Atenza in the mirrors. Nice overtake by Magic Man, who finished in 3rd position in the Division 2 Championship, Season 1 of the SFR GT Challenge. And now there's a battle, a Puerto Rican battle between Axel and Gabo. Gabo, who has the fastest lap, now has to overtake the Beetle to move forward. Axel, that's a near miss. He almost sent it in the grass and spun. Thankfully, he's still on the track. Still his 4 tires on the tarmac. That was a little scary. There's a driver in the pits. That's Stag, as Legacy is getting rid of his hards, and Stag is on fresh socks. As our leader I apologize, T64 Turbo is clearly in the lead. The RWB driver clearly ahead of the second place driver are Dr. Vegas. Dr. Vegas and T64 Turbo still have to use the hearts. Same thing for Speak Loud. So the top 3 make that top 3 still have to use the hearts. Fuzzy is the first one on the track who has used both mandatory compounds, and he just ran the fastest lap of the race by a huge margin, 122.2. So we'll see if he's able to close the gap to the leader. That will be hard, even though T64 Turbo still has to use the hards, but it's not impossible. We've seen how fast he can be at test event number 2 at the Autodrome Lago Maggiore. There's a battle for 12th place. Legacy and Stag. Stag, who was in I think, yeah, he was a driver in Division 2 Pro last season. Joined mid-season. As T64 Turbo is in the pits, will he use the hards now, or will he keep that stint to the end of the race? No, he's using the hards now. So taking his tire penalty, let's call it that way. No one likes to use the hards, but they have to. Dr. Vegas is staying on the softs. And he's gonna exit right in front of Gabo. As Axel is in the pits. Still has to use the hards. We'll see if he uses them. Yes. This means we'll have Magic Man. Well, Magic Man is in the pits. And likely will use the hards. So that would mean Gale Speed and Dr. Vegas. Yes, Magic Man is on the hards. So 2 drivers still have to use them. Gale Speed and our driver Dr. Vegas in 5th place, who's right in front of Gabo. So it's a Toyota Battle FT1 VGT, a fictional car, and a concept car, the Supra, the GR Supra Racing Concept, which is a it's based off the GTE regulation. These GT cars you can see at the 24 Hours of Le Mans, or in the WEC. And so Dr. Vegas, who has the FT1, has a little, you'd say it handles a little better than the Supra. Less understeer, but it's down on power. The gearing is different. And we have fixed setup, so drivers are not allowed to change their gearbox ratios, and tweak their suspension or their downforce, their wing and their splitter. They must use the default setup provided by Polyphony Digital. And we're also using the standard BOP from Polyphony Digital. We don't have custom BOP in the SFR GT Challenge. So our spies in the pits tell us that indeed it was a technical issue on that caused our Gnarly to DNF from the race. We are sure he's going to be back even stronger for round 2 at the Sardinia road track in 2 weeks. It will be a 43 lap race, even longer than this one. But Speak Loud right behind T64 Turbo, who's on the hards, so he's, for the first time in this race, he's being challenged by another driver. And I apologize, Speak Loud has the advantage. Has a run, but T64 Turbo defends the inside. And Speak Loud has to lift to avoid a collision. So the battle for the lead between T64 Turbo, who has led every lap this race, who's now on the hards. Speedcloud hasn't used the hards yet. Will likely have to do so shortly. But he has the edge, he has the advantage. And so the tires, even though it's only 5 laps, well 10 laps out of 42 laps, it doesn't make it's not a big portion of the race, but it still has a huge impact as it greatly affects lap times. As you can see, T64 Turbo was running away with it much faster than Speedcloud when they had the same compounds, and now he's a sitting duck. He's probably gonna be overtaken here. But he still defends his line. Stays ahead of Speedcloud, who runs wide, clips the barrier, but doesn't spin. So he's still back. He's back on the tarmac. The difference between the hards and the softs is huge, and it creates these battles on a narrow track like Brands Hatch. Speedcloud's tires are not that badly worn, but it seems like he's running he's running low on fuel, so you probably will have to pit soon for fuel. We'll keep an eye on the battle, as there's a 3-way battle for 11th place between Stag, Legacy, and Magic Man. We'll go back to the battle for the lead. We'll keep an eye on the other battles on the track. T64 Turbo has the pace, but he's struggling on the hards. Yeah, so Turbo has saved a little more fuel than Speedcloud. Will mean he will have a shorter pit stop, and Speedcloud, going on the outside, will try to overtake him at Hawthorns, and T64 Turbo, a wise man, decides to yield the lead to Speedcloud. He knows he's much slower on the hards. There's no point in losing too much time battling with him, as Fuzzy was on the softs and will likely have to pit soon. Is only 2.6 seconds behind him, after being over 20 seconds behind T64 Turbo. And Fuzzy has used both mandatory compounds, and so he won't have to use the hards or the mediums. There are only three drivers who still have to use the hards, and I believe no, I thought Speedcloud was entering the pits. No, T64 Turbo is in the pits. These drivers will likely, took some fuel, and they'll all exit on the softs. None of them have to use the hards. Only Speedcloud and Dr. Vegas, so 3 Rockefeller Racing drivers have to use the hards. They are on a different strategy to other drivers in this race. The only one who has used both compounds is Magic Man out of the 4 Rockefeller Racing drivers. So T64 Turbo, now on the same strategy as Fuzzy, and he has only 3.7 seconds over him. Fuzzy also took fuel, so they should be good to go. So the gap between, you could say, since the other drivers are out of sequence, you could say T64 Turbo is the unofficial leader, followed by Fuzzy and Exotica. That would be your top 3 once the 2 drivers at the front pit, and that's now Speedcloud entering the pits. Oh. He was on the softs. Will he use the hards now or wait for his final stint? As Dr. Vega still staying on the softs. So Speedcloud will be good to go. and he's exiting right in front of Fuzzy. So that could be great for T64 Turbo, as Fuzzy will have to fight with SpeedCloud to move up to third place. And our reserve driver for Rockefeller Racing is now in the lead. He's catching Kotobori, the Puerto Rico Racing Club driver in the McLaren. So he's looking to, you see the blue flags, he's looking to overtake him and put him a lap down. So they are not fighting for position. As Fuzzy is already ahead of SpeedCloud, we'll have a look at the replay. So the Supra with the advantage, he's on the softs, fresh softs versus the fresh hards. And he's managed to complete the overtake, so he's not going to lose too much time behind SpeedCloud. And now he has his sights on T64 Turbo, as the leader still remains on the track. He's stretching his racing soft stint as much as possible, but he's losing a lot of time to T64 Turbo. He's running about 1.2 seconds slower than the Audi driver for the RWB racing team. And he's running low on fuel right now, as Fuzzy is slowly catching T64 Turbo. Lost a little time on this lap as he had to overtake, on the previous lap as he had to overtake SpeedCloud, but he has clear track now. We'll see if he's able to purple this sector. No, slightly down on his personal best. His personal best being the fastest lap of the race, about 4/10 faster than everyone else. So it's still a decent time. And now Exotica and Gabo fighting for 5th place. Both have used both mandatory compounds, and Gabo trying to sneak past Exotica to gain another spot. The GT are fast on the straights, but the Supra is also very fast, as the leader is in the pits. Still has to use the hards. We'll see if he chooses to use them now. He has to refuel to get to the end of the race. Still about 13 laps left. And he's still on the soft, so he's probably going to run the hards at the end of the race. As you can probably, with 13 laps left for him, he's probably going to do only one more pit stop. Gale Speed, who's now on the mediums, and I'm a little confused as to why he's on the mediums. I thought he had already used the mediums, so I'll have to put a question mark next to his name. Either he was on the hards and I accidentally marked it as mediums, or maybe it's a driver mistake and he's using 2 stints on the mediums instead of 1 stint on the mediums and 1 stint on the hards. So Catch, since you're the team boss, you can rewind the stream and see if he was on the hards. That would help me greatly, and that would probably lower your anxiety, since you wouldn't want to have a driver getting disqualified. But it could be part of his strategy. He could decide to run 2 stints on the mediums if I am the one who is made the mistake. As Fuzzy, no, that's Exotica. Exotica overtaking. Whoop, no, that's not what I wanted. Okay. So SpeedCloud on the hards, a sitting duck, Exotica forcing his way by, and that opened the door to Gabo, so losing 2 spots at the same time. So now Exotica in 3rd place, sliding in front of Gabo. And there's a what's going on there? Kotobori. Okay. I think Kotobori probably trying to yield to the leaders. Got in the grass. Exotica finished in second place 2 weeks ago at the test event number 2, right behind Fuzzy. Is still behind Fuzzy, but now fighting for third place with TPRT Gabo, who I believe got a podium or 2 podiums last season. He was a reserve driver and joined as a replacement for one of the full-time drivers towards the end of the season. And Kotobo, that looked a little scary. Up, and still the wrong things. I apologize. We'll have a look at it. So Kotobori. No, that was clean. I thought he was spinning, but actually was just yielding to the leaders. It's a very short track, so a few drivers might unfortunately end up outside of the lead lap. As Exotica is still fighting for his life. Still trying to hold the Supra behind him, as Speak Loud is now a sitting duck in front of Dr. Vegas and DNA2 show. Dr. Vegas still has to use the hard, so he will be losing time at one point. As Kotobori is spinning behind, and he's on. No, okay, the track is clear. Must have been a yellow flag, but no incident, as Speak Loud is already entering the pits with 10 laps left. So he has done his 5 laps on the hards, and he's good to go, can use the softs. Exotica still ahead of Gabo, and they both are running low on fuel. We'll see if they're able to make it to the end, or if they'll need to take some fuel, a splash and go at the end of the race maybe. And thank you for the nice comments in the chat. Always good to read this. Can't please everyone. So Exotica for BDRT, Black Dragon Racing Team. These fancy liveries designed by our friend BDRT Nataku, who's probably gonna watch this after the race. Are you from Quebec? Yes, I am from Quebec. And so Dr. Vegas still on the softs, still hasn't pitted for the hards. And the gap between the first 2 drivers, T64 Turbo and Fuzzy RS, is down to 3.1 seconds. It was over 4 seconds a few laps ago. So you can see by looking at the lap times, Fuzzy is running slightly faster laps than T64 Turbo. But he has his tires have more wear than T64 Turbo's softs. And T64 Turbo enters the pits. So we have some trolls in the chats. Want to wish you good night and please don't come back. So T64 Turbo out on fresh softs in front of Dr. Vegas, and Fuzzy RSQC also took fresh softs, and Plenty of Fuel is now down in third. But Dr. Vegas still has to use the hards, so he's out of sequence. He doesn't have the same strategy as the drivers in front and behind him. We still have, I believe Gale Speed is the other one who hasn't used the hards. Probably has used them while we were watching the battles for first place and third place. As Gabo is now ahead of Exotica. We'll see if we're able to look at the replay. Unfortunately, no, I cannot go further back than this. So Gabo is now ahead of Exotica. And he's looking at a potential podium as our Dr. Vegas will have to pit for hards. Start on the hards? Okay. So we have confirmation from the pit lane from Rockefeller Racing that Gale Speed started on hards. So that was my mistake. So now Dr. Vegas is between Turbo and Fuzzy RSQC. So mixing things up, Fuzzy has to overtake him if he wants to get to T64 Turbo. But he's only 1.5 seconds behind the Audi, which is the closest he's been all race. He has the fastest lap. He's the fastest driver on the track. But he's going to lose time behind the FT1. He has to hope that either Dr. Vegas will pit this lap or next. Well, he will have to pit next lap at the latest to take the hards. But he's now already up in second place. Just completed the overtake. And he has to push hard to catch T64 Turbo. Both drivers will not. They will probably be able to run to the end on this set of tires. And Dr. Vegas is only 7.8 seconds ahead of Gabo, and he will be on the slower tire at the end. So, looking unlikely that the Rockefeller Racing driver will be able to stay in third place. Gabo in Exotica will likely be able to either overtake him as he's in the pit lane or as he exits on the hards. So Exotica and Gabo are good to go. They have fresh stops and plenty of fuel. Exotica will have to push and catch the Supra, otherwise he is looking at a 4th or 5th place finish. Tusho and Speedcloud fighting for 6th place. The Audi and the AMG both on the softs. As Fuzzy is 1.7 seconds behind the Turbo. The gap hasn't changed this lap. They're running similar lap times. So you can see how different strategies really change the whole picture as Dr. Vegas is in the pits. As T64 Turbo looked to have a commanding lead over 20 seconds ahead of Fuzzy, and now they're only separated by less than 2 seconds. As Dr. Vegas is now on the hards, and he's in 5th place, so he won't be able to get on the podium this race unless there's a major issue in front of him, or he's able to redesign the laws of physics and push the hards like racing softs. But unfortunately, as I'm saying that, seems like the commentator curse. First time it's hitting a GTC2 driver. It was a mess in GTC1, but this time only Dr. Vegas is suffering from the commentator's curse, unfortunately. dropping 2 spots. It's always hard to adapt to the lower grip levels on the hards after you've used the softs for 3 stints, I believe. He started on the mediums, then used the softs the whole race until he got to lap 37. We'll still have top 2 separated by 1.6 to 1.5 seconds. I'll see if we can have a look at this incident. Should be able to. No, unfortunately, the wrong replay. So Exotica is still 1.9 seconds behind Gabo. So he's not able to close the gap to the driver from the Tupai Racing Team from Puerto Rico, number 33. Up. I'm not sure what's going on. He seems to be in auto drive. Maybe a technical issue. Something out of his control, but it's dangerous as he's in auto drive. Oh, and he's been disconnected. So now Exotica is promoted to 3rd place. I'm not sure exactly what happened. Could be an issue, and he had to DNF. He will still be classified in 14th place and score 2 points, but it's 22 points. Yeah, he would have scored 24 points in 3rd place. So that's unfortunate for TPRT. He was fast all the way. He had the fastest lap for a long time. And so it could be a double podium for BDRT. And Fuzzy hasn't said his final word. He's still pushing hard, trying to catch Turbo. They're running similar lap times. I think Turbo just ran his fastest his personal best. This is making it tough for Fuzzy. He ran in 122.3 the previous lap. And so the Audi and the Supra, 1.7 seconds between them, 1.6. He's getting on the grass. Number 420 on the grass. I don't know if you're getting the pun here. Ha 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 ha. So 1.9 seconds between the two drivers. Gabo likely got disconnected as he's back in the chat. So unfortunately we've lost our Gnarly and TPRT Gabo. The leader is still 1.8 seconds ahead of Fuzzy, and we're on the penultimate lap. And Exotica is looking at his first podium in a championship round, I believe. He had 2 in test events, one in season 2, and one 2 weeks ago at test event 2. I think he had a 3rd place Catalonia test event number 1 last season. DNA2 show, one of the 2 DNA drivers we've had in this race, is in 4th place, and SpeakLoud in 5th. Burtel, the only TPRT driver remaining on the track, is in 6th place. Dr. Vegas, who's on the Hearts, is in 7th place. Legacy in 9th place for the PREC, Puerto Rico E-Racing Club. Gale Speed in 10th. Magic Man in 11th, his teammate. DNA Stag in 12th, and Kotobori a lap down in 13th for the PREC. As T64 Turbo enters the final lap, takes Druids for the final time tonight. 1.6 seconds ahead of Fuzzy. So The BDRT driver hasn't been able to close the gap. That's a battle we'll have to keep an eye on the whole season. It seems like these two drivers are well matched in this division. Same thing between Exotica and Gabo. They had a nice battle for a few laps. Unfortunately, Gabo had to DNF and will be classified in 14th place. Obviously, none of the results from tonight are official until the review has been completed. Drivers will be able to send a incident review form for the stewards to have a look at incidents, and the pit entries and exits will be reviewed, and the compliance with the tire mandatory compound rules will be reviewed. And so T64 Turbo enters the Clark curve for the final time and claims his first victory of the official season, round 1 on the Brands Hatch Grand Prix circuit, ahead of Fuzzy. For BDRT, Exotica with Gabo's DNF will claim 3rd place in the Nissan GTR and has turned off his wipers. DNA2 show in 4th place, Speakloud in 5th place, Gortel in 6th place for TPRT in the Supra. Dr. Vegas, our reserve driver, filling in for Little Mac, is in 7th place. He is the 2nd driver for RR, but he won't be scoring team points as he's a reserve driver. That will be Gale Speed in 10th place. Axel for PREC Puerto Rico E-Racing Club in the Beetle in 8th place in number 37, ahead of Legacy, who designed all of PREC's liveries this season, in 9th place in the Atenza. Gale Speed, our driver from the Dominican Republic, in 10th place for Rockefeller Racing. Magic Man, team captain, flashing his lights in the Corvette, 11th. DNA Stag in the Supra will be 12th, and Kotobori has already crossed the finish line, a lap down, in 13th in the McLaren. And here are your results. So T64 Turbo wins this race, starting from pole. We'll have a look at the final results. I will just screenshot them for my own use, as I'm also an SFR GT editor, SFR GT broadcaster, and SFR GT official. So T64 Turbo wins the race for RWB, Red, White and Blue Racing Team. That's their first victory in SFR GT Challenge, their first official victory, as it's the first official round of the season. And they're a new team in SFR. Fuzzy RSQC in 2nd place for BDRT in the Supra, 1.5 seconds behind him, about 1.6 if we round this, if we round the gap. BDRT Exotica in the GTR, for BDRT in 3rd place, so got a podium at the end of the race, as TPRT Gabo unfortunately had to DNF. DNA2 show in the Audi, our Brazilian driver, in 4th place. Our Speakloud in 5th place, the first driver for Rockefeller Racing in the AMG. TPRT Gortel from Puerto Rico in the Supra in 6th place, will be the only TPRT driver scoring points. Same thing for T64 Turbo for RWB. Our Dr. Vegas in 7th place, our reserve driver. Axel for the Puerto Rico E-Racing Club, followed by his teammates, so the 2 PREC drivers in 8th and 9th. Gale Speed for Rockefeller Racing in 10th, ahead of his team captain in 11th. So looking at, and Stag and Kotobori are the last 2 cars running on the track. Gabo will still be classified in 14th, getting 2 points, so actually TPRT will have 2 drivers scoring points. So looking at this, it seems like BDRT will be leading the team championship, followed by RWB, DNA and TPRT, and Rockefeller Racing will follow them, and PREC. From what I can calculate, I think PREC and Rockefeller Racing will be almost matched But I believe Rockefeller Racing will be ahead of PREC in the standings after round 1. Remember, drivers have 2 drop rounds, so only 10 out of the 12 rounds will count, but it's always good to keep track of the championship. And thank you, Tusho, for reminding me to save the replay. I'll need it for the review. And I want to thank everyone, the drivers, the viewers, and everyone behind the SFR GT Challenge for this great race. And I will likely be back next week for GTC1 live from the circuit in Sardinia. And you can also see the replay from the GTC3 race that was happening at the same time as GTC2, which will be broadcasted by our friends RR Catch, the boss, and PX7 Rodrigo, El Nino, on I believe that will be on Tuesday at 8 p.m. And I've been booted from the lobby, so good night everyone, and see you soon.